asking.
I mean, it's true. I mean,
The audiobook is just fantastic.
Wait, are we already live?
We are
yeah,
now.
we went live.
Hello, everyone.
It's like, yes, we went live. And it is streaming to YouTube. Perfect. I'm going to close that
Yeah,
out.
it just popped up on my phone.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. How are you? And Alicia, what you're saying about the audiobook. Yeah, can we just take a moment to thank God for Jacoby Dam? Can we just give that man a round of applause?
Finished that
Oh,
the other day.
the female narrator. I forgot her name.
Oh, you forgot her name? Ebony Flower.
And who Dossie? What was it?
Nicole Small.
Nicole Small, and then the singing performances that were
yes.
Oh my goodness! I was like, Jacoby, you're good. You're already solid. But I'm like, Bonnie Flowers. This is her book. More than I was like, whew.
And then
it made me miss Broadway.
Vocal performance,
Same.
April Christina. Okay.
Like that was the only time in the audiobook I had to like slow it down.
Because you wanted to get like the song. You want to listen to it. Like it's
just
like
weird,
sped
like
up.
3 times speed.
Listening to someone
sing, like,
yeah, those little extra vibration in there. I'm like, what? Let's slow you down a second. Let's let this wash over us.
I really liked that. I knew that there was going to be some singing in the audiobook, so I was really excited when we got that. And I love Jacoby Dam. He is just fantastic. And Kennedy Ryan would make most of the sex scenes through her point of view, so we didn't get Jacoby Dam moaning in your ears, which is unfortunate a whole lot. Why you have to do that, Kennedy Ryan? Why? Because that man has a talent.
Yeah, there were some moments where he was narrating her in like the really emotional parts of her illness and stuff, and that that just hit right to your heart.
I know. I was like, Misty eyes, Misty.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god. I was like, hold it together. I'm at work. Hold it together.
I do have to say, she wrote chronic illness, even though I don't suffer from lupus. She wrote it very well. Oh. And how it affects the people that are around you as well as the person dealing with the disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell like the reason why Kennedy doesn't pump out books like some other authors do, because like, she does take her time.
For sure. Yeah.
And you can tell in a good way. Takes her time in a good way.
Yeah. Because she had to nail it, because if she had to know what she was talking about with lupus, to say like it was like an asymptomatic version. She may have some flares and not life threatening. But I didn't get emotional as I thought I would. I really loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's because like I just like knew from like when the first her condition was mentioned, I was like, that's gonna rear its head.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the end. And then I didn't expect how it would connect her and her sister.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
That was the part where her family life was more impactful to me than her romance.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, 12 years? She stayed away?
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, and I think the stuff with the family hit harder than the relationship stuff did. Because I did get misty-eyed for a few minutes. And I honestly, this is going to kind of pivot slightly, but I'm debating between 4 and 5 stars. Not because I didn't think the book was phenomenal, but like from about 30% of the way in to about 75% of the way through the book, I was like, this thing is dragging. It just felt very long. I don't know if anyone else felt that, but then like towards the end, like it picked back up again and things were starting to happen, but I feel like it could have been made slightly shorter. Like, I don't even know where to begin to say you could cut stuff out, but it started to feel long occasionally. But it was so good. So I don't want to be like 4 stars because I felt like it was long in places, but at the same time, I'm just like, it kind of was for me.
I agree. Yeah.
It's longer than
the only criticism I would have had.
Hi, Deja. And Liz is here. Hi, Liz. So Liz is saying I have a similar illness to Neva's and newly have scalp problems, so this book really hit home. That's rough. I mean, lupus, I mean, it's very, it's like your body is just attacking itself, and there's really nothing you can do. And she tried her best to stay on the natural path to do things, but in the end, it wasn't enough, unfortunately.
There were a couple times when like she was out with him and drinking and in the sun. Like after that one time she had that moment and then she kept drinking. I was like, ma'am, you literally said you would stop drinking. And every meal since then, mimosas, let's go out in the sun. I'm like, ma'am, come on. You just said that these were like triggers for you. Let's stop this stuff. But yeah, that bothered me a little bit.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying about like it being a little bit long. Because it is long for a contemporary.
Yeah.
But I was so interested in Neva as a character.
Yeah.
Like, I just flew through the audiobook.
Yeah.
I can't stop reading because I'm so fascinated by your character and the whole Desi and that whole backstory. I wish we got more of that.
I wanted more Desi.
Whole book.
I wish there was like a 0.5 and it was just a book from her point of view. Desi.
That would be perfect.
I think we're getting to Kira's story
next. Yeah, I think
the Hollywood 100,001 Dark Nights.
Nice.
Oh.
Is that the 0.5 that's on Goodreads?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to miss out on stuff you want to do, though. That's true. You know, it's like she doesn't want to. I don't think she was prepared for it to hit her as hard as it did, as fast as it did.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this is her dream, you know, this is her big break, you know, and she didn't want to, you know, be the burden, and she didn't want, you know, people to look at her and say like, oh, we shouldn't have given her a chance, you know? So she was really fighting not only for her life, but she was fighting for this performance to give her all and, you know, do all this. And, you know, poor Cannon, he was like, I did this to her. I push and push and push because I want the best out of my actors, but any kind of stress could cause this flare up. And he was just kicking himself. And I'm like, oh, you babies, poor babies.
It wasn't his fault. It was his freaking ex. Oh my God. Like as soon as they had that podcast or whatever that came out, I was like, I would legit run to her house and then run her over with my car. I was so mad at her. Like I just way to be salty, stupid lady. Oh, I got very angry at her, like knowing it was going to come because something had to start like pivoting everything. But I was just like, I was so infuriated at her for just okay.
Yeah, that was almost like a red herring conflict though, because that resolved really quickly.
Like, that was the one part that I thought resolved way too quickly and way too all tied up.
Yeah, it was one conversation.
And everything was fine.
Yeah.
But you know what? I kind of liked that because I didn't want to take away from their story too long. You know, I mean, they could have had like another conversation, or there could have been like, oh, you keep this up, I'm going to sue you for slander or whatever the fuck, you know? But it's just like, I liked that it wrapped up like a lot of the conflicts, except for like with her family and stuff like that really, you know, it was a thing for the whole book and until she needed a kidney. And, you know, she was like, her mom was like, damn your pride. Like I told her, she came with me. Like you needed to talk to her. She kept dragging her feet about talking to her sister about a kidney. She's like, tomorrow. And I was like, you're going to die.
You're passing out. Like,
I feel for her though. Like
I felt for her.
That prologue and like, she was about to give up her whole life to be with this guy.
Who didn't even care.
And the one person that like she loved more than anything just did that to her and was pregnant.
Yeah.
Like I get why she doesn't want to like
gaslight her about it.
He goes to try and blame her.
She was like, I don't want to be around her.
Exactly.
Yeah, when she tried to blame her, I got pissed. I was like, get out of here. You slept with her fiance. You're now pregnant with his baby. Like, that's all on you, ma'am.
Not even the sister. It was the fiance. He was just like, well, you said you weren't ready and guys can't wait, you know? And I'm just like, oh my God, what a dick.
Can't wait, but they've got these.
I'm like, what? I'm like, get out of here.
It was just one time 2 years ago.
I know.
Like, I'm not great with science, but
she's like, that's more than 9 months.
But I was like, wow.
As soon as I read that line, I'm like, who's dumb enough to believe that? Like, you would have to be just like every blonde joke where it's like, how do you drown a blonde? Put a scratch and sniff snicker at the bottom of a pool. Like, you would have to be that stupid to not be able to figure that math out. I'm just saying.
Oh.
But don't kill me. But I liked how Kennedy didn't like. I understood the people who were kind of like the antagonists of the story.
Yeah.
Like Camille. I like how Candace like had that maturity to realize like I hurt her.
Yeah.
Even though what she did was wrong.
Yeah.
Even her conversation with Takira, her sister, like with Neva, between Neva and her sister, there was a lot of pent up.
Oh yeah,
emotions that like Neva didn't see.
Yeah.
So I understood why she did what she did, and that's why I love what Kennedy did in this book. Yeah. Like there was no drama for playing it up as you would have seen in other romance novels.
Yeah.
Like some would have like taken Camille and just made her just a complete horrible person, a monster. But even for her, she was like, I see like almost like her, like they're like parallels her and Neva.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. One being new to the industry, one that's like been in the industry for a long time.
Yeah.
And like all the struggles that go with that. But I really loved how all the drama in this book was necessary to move the plot. Yeah. And it wasn't people were just like acting like 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
Kennedy really gives you like that second side of the story, you know, because you have a lot of Neva's point of view, but there are two sides to every story, two feelings, two, you know, betrayals, if you would, you know, so she really gives you for both of the antagonists, Camille and Neva's sister. So you really get their side of the story and you're reading it and it makes sense, you know? Yeah. So it's like, you can't help but feel more towards Camille. Her sister was being in Neva's shoes. I would probably do the exact same thing. I would wait till the last minute. I probably wouldn't even ask for a kitty. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna die. Let me die, Alicia. I have personal issues with like my own sister, so it's like I fully understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you get that other side of the story, and it makes you empathetic for the person you thought was the quote unquote antagonist of the story, and Kennedy does that very, very well. I thought so. I totally agree with you, Charles. 100%. It's
like Neva actually had the best life when you compare over the last 12 years.
Yeah.
This Takiro, I forget. I'm blanking on her name, but
Neva's sister. Yes.
Neva's sister. She was essentially stuck in that town. Didn't have a lot of job prospects.
Oh, it's Terry.
Living with her mother. Oh, okay. Living with her mother. Right. And even her relationship with the dude was not that good.
Yeah.
Right.
To begin with. Yeah. And even the daughter was like, why hasn't my aunt been around?
I felt bad for the daughter.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Walking in on that conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, she didn't deserve that.
The worst way to learn about that.
And with Neva, and like, it's hard to like be around, like, it's different if two people, like, someone cheats on you, but when you see like a child, that's like now your niece, that's so much baggage.
Yes. And they're married and they'll be like every family gathering. So it's like, you're just gonna like, she just stayed away. She did not want her face like rubbed into it, you know? And it's kind of like, and everyone kind of walking on eggshells around her. So it was kind of like, it just was easier for her to stay gone. And it did build resentment even more because she felt like she was pushed out of her own family because of what happened. And everybody took her side and not Neva's side. So it's like, but yeah, Liz's comment here, I didn't get far enough. Did Neva get a relationship with the niece? That poor girl didn't do anything wrong. She deserves an aunt. Yes.
She started to get one.
Yeah, she started.
Yeah.
Like I love that about the ending with like the sister and the family. Like it wasn't like a complete like tie in the like bow tied ending for them, but you could see that they were on the path to like recovery. Essentially, they were going to have those communications and they were going to talk through it. And I think she mentioned like that there were arguments that they still had, like it was constantly 180, like we'd be, you know, happy and hugging everybody one second and then we'd be screaming at each other the next. And I was just like, yeah, that's kind of how it works.
That's, I mean, that's sisters, how you get through
that's a normal sibling relationship.
But yeah, they definitely had that, you know, talk that they should have had, you know, years ago kind of thing. And when her sister was telling how like the first few years of her marriage to Brandon were very rough because Brandon was kind of holding like a resentment towards her and he really loved Neva. And I was like, oh, and she kind of knew that. And when she's like
worse.
Brandon just kind of quote unquote let it go. Well, it's like, and Brandon kind of, let it go because he realized, oh, you're married to me and I'm not going anywhere. I'm the mother of your kid. You might as well just make it work. And I'm like, how? I don't know how I would feel about that. I'm like, I don't know. That's really rough, So
I don't know. Part of me with that part was like, dude, it takes two to tango to make a kid. Like, it's your fault here. Like, you can't blame her completely. It takes two to tango. The last time I checked.
Yeah. Especially because, like, if it happened once 2 years ago, all right, understandable, sort of, not really. But the fact that like 2 years passed,
years previous,
and now there's a child, like, sir, you done wrong, and you knew you done wrong multiple times.
Well, he's like, they started up again because, she was working so hard with the school play, and I'm like,
please. That's 18-year-old boy brain.
Yeah, I know. It's like, from like the other side, it's almost like Neva's like, they can all tell in this town that like she doesn't need anyone. Like she is the one that's gonna go on to do bigger and better things. So like it makes sense, like why like the fiance like did what he did.
Yeah.
In that way, because like in his 18-year-old brain, he's like, she doesn't really need me, and then here her sister's throwing me attention. And then I don't think they ever intended to get pregnant and have a baby, but I think that was like completely left field. But I think he knew, that even he might have loved her, that she was gonna leave him anyways.
Yeah,
because like she's destined for such great things, and then she does it. She leaves. She goes on and does her own thing for the past 12 years.
Yeah, how their life would have turned out if she didn't take that opportunity to go to school and, stayed behind and just taught drama class in high school. It's like there's a different kind of resentment that would build in a relationship because you feel like, you were being held back.
Yeah.
And it would not be good all around. But thankfully that didn't happen. And she did go off and do great things. And she was discovered and she got, cast in this huge movie as a starring role. I love how she was just like, I'll be like the extra in the back, like holding something or like a dance in the back. And he's like, oh no, you're gonna play Desi, you're the main character. And she's like, fuck. And Karen was like, does that mean yes? And she's like, yes.
It made me miss New York City a lot. Like the first couple chapters when she was on Broadway and stuff, I was like, I miss this. A lot of my friends work on Broadway, so like I'm like, I miss that like grunt stuff where you would go out afterwards and whatnot.
Yeah.
I love how she low-key fangirled, like at the very beginning. Every time he showed up, I was like, that's just something that I would do. So I like very much related to that. Like being nervous the second he's been, oh my God, that's Cannon Holt. First of all, okay, second, Cannon. I love the name, but at the same time, I have a friend that has a kid named Canyon. So listening to the audiobook super fast, occasionally when it got sexual and it said Cannon, I immediately thought of this little boy, and I'm like, no. Because it's just such a unique name. So they were very similar in that regard. So that might have pulled me out of the story a couple of times, been like, la, 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 la. You're not doing that. No, you're not.
Well, as soon as he was introduced, I was like, Canon as in the
camera?
The camera?
Yeah.
And then you learn that, his mother like named him for the camera. And I was like, that is hilarious.
I wish we had more time with his mother. His mother seems... It was the line she said about not sacrificing your art.
Yes.
Oh.
And she's like, go bag groceries, go do something. Yeah. I was like, that is true dedication.
Yeah.
And Neva was like, so she wouldn't have approved that music video you directed. And Karen was like, my favorite line was, it's not your tits, it's your wits.
I lost it. About the music guy. I would love, because he was like my favorite character.
Monk, yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm like, he just seems like he'd be fun. Like,
I feel like he may get a book because this is a series.
Yeah.
That's how it felt.
Like, can he confirm this is a series? I don't know how many books.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were definitely teasing Ethan, the producer, and the wife of the exec. You know.
Oh yeah, that guy.
That wasn't subtle at all. I was like, dude, you're in the man's house. That's disgusting. Stop.
He was like, a guy can look, and I'm like, you are literally in their house.
Yeah.
They only have the 1.5 on Goodreads.
Everyone was like, you know, oh, like go, like you can see your wife at home, who you don't deserve, by the way. Like towards the end there, when I was just like, wow, everyone
not hiding it, not very subtle.
And even there's a couple times when she was like doing the wardrobe for Neva, and Neva would just think like, it's like, how did a guy like Ethan land, or not Ethan? What was his name?
Was it Evan?
Trey? Was it the co-star you're talking about?
No, it was her
money
husband.
bigwig guy.
Yeah, Lawson. Is it Lawson?
I think so.
It was Galaxy Productions. I don't know if it was.
Okay. But she was but Neva was thinking, like, how did a guy like that manage to snag you? Like, you're just so nice. And he just seems like this other guy is a complete tool, you know? So I'm like, I don't know. Like, there must be something, you know, going on there. But yeah, there's definitely hinted at other relationships that could be possibly be when the series does continue.
I'm kind of curious about Monk and his ex-girlfriend, the one that's doing the rewrites. I forget her name.
Verity.
Oh,
yeah. I was like, oh, I want to dig into that one.
Yeah, because they were so like throwing barbs at each other. I was like, like in front of the whole crew. Like, what are we doing?
Like, what are you guys?
Oh my gosh!
I like how when they didn't tell Canon that like Neva's co-star was in a relationship.
Oh.
Yeah,
like, he thought
that was pretty juvenile.
They were flirting, and they were like, "We just want you to sit with that."
Who told him that they were sleeping together? I was like, Monk, that's low.
Oh, the one friend.
Wasn't it Ethan? Was it Ethan who said it?
I don't know. It was either Monk or I think it's Evan. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's messed up. That's messed up.
Yeah.
Just randomly sits there. I think they're screwing each other.
Continue on. But hilarious. I agree 100%. But he was trying so hard.
I just want to reread this book again. It's so good. You didn't reread it? No, I didn't have time. I have to read. I have to finish my reread of The Fallen Men. Those books are thick.
Okay. Hey. It is Evan. It's Evan. Sorry.
Okay. My bad.
I need this book to get more hype. This book is too good.
This book?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like it kind of, after it came out, it kind of died down in terms of the hype for it. But it's
is there a date for the second one yet or no?
They didn't have one.
June.
I couldn't see anything on Goodreads.
I know I think I pre-ordered it. I think.
Did you
order it? Maybe
I signed up on her website to get the extra prologue of Canon and Neva.
Oh.
It's supposed to come out next month, and you're only supposed, if you're on her mailing list, you get the prologue.
Nice.
So like 5 years later or something like that.
There's
he's good at that. Like saying, "Oh, buy the ebook now, and then you can whisper sync it later." I'm like, "That's how she got me real."
That's
pre-ordered the ebook, and then when the audio dropped, I was like, "Oh, super
convenient."
The audiobook and the ebook together. That whisper thing, it'll get you on every book as long as it's not like a certain price. $12.99.
It brought me a lot of the
$8.
music. Just brought me back to like when I used to go with friends in New York City to jazz clubs. Middle of nowhere jazz clubs.
Yeah, that's coming in August.
Oh, August. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. So I don't have to wait that long.
I can share the
Liz,
link. You can pre-order it right now.
I see a bonus epilogue, but I will have to go on there and see.
It's just sign up for the subscription, like the emails through her website, and you'll get it.
Okay. Cool.
The only thing I do have to my gripe with this, it wasn't as steamy as some of her
I feel like
others.
it's very steamy.
Have Have you read Blockshot by Kennedy Ryan?
Moments.
This is my first book by her.
I read Flow, and I read I read Flow. I haven't read anything.
I would say Blockshot, and then Her Grip or Her Steamy.
I'm pretty sure there's a good 5 sex scenes in here.
There weren't as many, but they were good. Like,
but like, just when you go read Blockshot, I will have to warn you, it is cheating. It is a cheating book. But that hero is like, imagine Canon, but turn him up to like Rena Kent or like all the way alpha possessive.
But I don't.
Is that a basketball book?
yeah.
Technically not. The heroine dates a basketball player, but the hero is sports agent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Isn't that series though very like traumatic? Isn't that series like very traumatic, like domestic abuse kind of stuff? I think
if you
one of them
don't want like the most traumatic, you can read the 3rd book in the Hoop series.
Okay.
The 1st book is domestic violence.
Got it.
The 2nd book is cheating, and the 3rd one I think is, I forgot what the 3rd one is, but the last 2 aren't as heavy.
Well, that's why I'm kind of
it's very low on sports.
It's sports adjacent.
It's like one of the main characters like are in the sports field, but it's not like every scene is them playing basketball or something.
I mean, it's like a hockey romance. There's maybe like 2 lines of them actually playing the game, right? The rest is in the locker room.
Aaron throwing shade on all sports romances.
No, I have to say, I do like hockey romances. I grew up in a hockey town, so I do like hockey romances.
If it's anything like the Bromance Book Club, I can handle that because it's a little bit of sports, but it's mainly about the romance. I'm so excited about that book. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Read Blockshot and then tell me. Like that character.
Well, to read Blockshot, I would have to first read the other.
Is Hookshot the first one?
They're all standalones. They're not even really connected.
Oh, okay. Cool.
The Hoops trilogy.
Hoops. Oh, I'm just gonna go.
Don't read them back to back to back. It's a little bit too heavy.
I know I'm kind of jumping a little bit, but I kind of
you can't because if they're all gonna be like this, it's like you're gonna be just very sad. This is my washi tape that I use.
Cute.
But yeah, it's just I think Izzy said something where it's like I can only read like 1 Kennedy Ryan book a month, and then I'll have to like.
Well, that's why
this is my first emotional.
One. Yeah, this is my first one because everybody told me that the Hoop series would like break me, and I was like, no, I don't want to.
And not in a
but
good
it breaks you so good.
I know, but
Charles just like, yes, hurt me.
I was reading it when the audios weren't all out. Like she had the long delay. I was like, Kennedy, get these audios out like immediately. I was like, I can't wait. So I read Blockshot and the last 2 books. I was like, you know what? Kenny, you took too long on those audios. Now she's like doing.
But they're great audios. You understand why they take so much time. They're fantastic.
Yeah, this one I could turn it up pretty fast and it was still really clear.
Yeah.
You know, I could follow it, and I usually can't go much above 1.7. But
I feel like Jacoby Dam speaks quickly anyway.
Yeah.
So like normally I can go up to 3 speed, but it's like with Jacoby Diem, I 2 and I'm fine, but he just naturally speaks faster. I feel like. But yeah, it's just I want to listen to more audiobooks narrated by Jacoby Diem for reasons.
For research.
Yeah, strictly research purposes. Yeah.
So Nicole, when you finish your book, you know who to narrate it.
Oh my God.
You have to,
I would
have
die.
To do it.
I would die. I would literally just unalive on the spot.
Well, he's part of SAG, so his contact information is public. Oh. He's part of SAG.
Nicole's like
saying.
Do a little royalty share.
Go on the
like
SAG website, SAG-AFTRA, and most of the audiobook narrators' information is public, so you can contact them.
I'm just saying, like, I don't even know if he would agree to it. But
it just depends on how much you pay him.
Exactly.
The worst,
I feel like I can't
do is not
afford.
send you anything back.
I could not afford Jacoby Diem, first of all.
Probably, if it's short, I think you could do it.
I'm already.
We'll all buy your ebook. I will make everyone read it. I'll make everyone buy it. I'll go to everyone's houses and say, "Buy this ebook now, or else."
Or
or else.
I would.
And we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
I don't even know what I would do.
There's gonna be the audiobook readers going like, "I would read Nicole's book, but it's not on audio."
Yeah, I have to pay for this stuff myself. No.
There's also websites you can put your quote on, and people can record audio. I actually signed up for it because you can get paid per book that you record.
That's nice.
I can send you the info if you like.
Is that? Yeah, there's like a site for like voice actors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love
around on there.
Love if Jacoby Diem would narrate one of my books, but let's just move on. Yep, that's fine.
Did you guys appreciate how low angst this relationship was?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
it could have gone like full.
It could have gone full like, I can't be with you, but I want you. But like it was believable. Like it was like Christmas break is going down.
Exactly. He's like, you know what? Thanksgiving. He was like, no, we're gonna wait till it wraps, and then Christmas. He's like, you know what? I changed my mind.
You're my present.
His friend who gave him the advice? He's like, wasn't one of his friends that said, we're not shooting for 2 weeks over Christmas break?
Yeah, Jill.
Yeah.
Right?
Jill
was the bad influence. Yeah.
She was a very bad influence.
Well, she was the one that had them do that meet cute for Thanksgiving because they were both going to be alone.
Booked them at the same restaurant.
He was like, I'm gonna kill her.
It was so funny because she did. I don't know who she set up first. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'll get you a table," and then the other person was like not doing it, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll get you a table," and I'm like, "Oh, you're only gonna get one table? It's like one bed.
There's only one table." That's awesome.
I saw what she did there.
I know I'm kind of jumping, but the part I did like, and it's not everybody's favorite part, but like when stuff gets harder with chronic illness, how you're like, not that you want to push people away, but you know how hard it's going to be. So you're like, if you want out, you can go. Like, even though it's hard to say that, like, it's more realistic because once crap hits the fan, like, some people dip out.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hi, Cache.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of the illness, I mean, this is kind of like slightly towards the end and not really related to it at all, but when Cannon. I'm not gonna be able to say it. They're both like no.
You're doing this to yourself.
Cannon, because of camera. Cannon. All right. When he was talking to her mom, like, I'll get the executives to give you a private jet to fly out here if you'd like. And then every time she's like, I'm spoiled. Like, this is the only way I'm going to be able to travel moving forward. If they get together, they might as well buy a private jet so they can take his mom everywhere or her mom everywhere.
That kind of annoyed me a little bit. Like, the mom wouldn't come see her perform because she wouldn't fly. I'm like, your daughter's on Broadway. Go. Like,
some people have a car and drive.
There are some people do. Yeah.
It's a real fear. It's a real fear.
Yeah.
I have to be heavily medicated to get on a plane. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh my
I didn't used to as a kid, but I don't know. As I got older.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. Like after taking anxiety meds before getting on the plane or something to make them sleep, or they just it's just. Can I get it? You're like claustrophobic and you're in the air like 10,000
I just have too much wine
feet up.
I have a friend that hates flying and she used to fly all the time. And I asked her, I was just like, what are you so afraid of? She's like, of dying. And I'm like, literally, if you're gonna die, it's gonna go fast. Like it's not gonna be quick. Like, or it's not gonna be dragged out. It's gonna be real quick. You're just gonna hit the ground and go. And she's like, yeah, but what about the entire time that you're like pivoting down to the earth? And I'm like, okay,
down where you're just waiting to die.
Like, what are you talking about? It's gonna be quick. No, it's not. They have to plummet to earth first.
Once I'm up in the air, I'm fine. It's the takeoff and the landing that I freak out the most.
That's her as well, yeah.
I think someone told me like you're more likely to die in a car accident than the airplane crash.
Oh, 100%.
So I was like, oh, okay, that makes me feel better.
But my great grandparents used to take separate flights because they used to say, this was like back in the 70s, they used to say, like, if one of us died, the other parent would be alive or something. They used to legit take separate flights.
And then both planes go down.
Right, that's what my brain
I love that.
Both
like,
planes go down and you're both screwed.
You take an earlier flight. I'll take the later flight.
And then both.
So like, did they make it? I love that.
Every single time. But they always took separate flights. If one died, someone would be there for the kids.
But, I mean, I guess that's smart in a very morbid way.
It's morbid, but I get it.
It makes sense, but it's kind of funny.
But you also have to think back in the late 60s, early 70s, flying wasn't as
norm,
as safe as it is as it is now.
Yeah, I remember the days where you could just anyone could be with you at the gate.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Now it's just like
wave you away.
Only the people who are actually flying.
Yeah, you got to get through TSA.
But like if you're like kids, like usually your parents could like just take you to the gate.
Yeah.
Now
hang out with you before you get on the plane. Now you have to go to like a whole flight attendant has to like shepherd you throughout the whole plane. But I can see back then I'll be like, yeah. Let's
I think that happens to a lot of parents.
There's a TV show that was just so over the top. I'm like blanking on the name of it, but
Manifest.
That's it! Oh my god, I love that show.
I need to watch it.
But it is the best. So where they take two separate flights, and then like one of them doesn't land for 5 years, and I'm just and there's the kids were twins.
This comment here, I think that happens to a lot of parents.
Two planes.
I don't think so. Every time my parents flew, they took on the same flight. They must not have loved us. They all barely.
I think if you're flying without your kids, that's the understanding. Like we're gonna fly separately versus we're gonna fly together. So then at least if whoever's watching our kids, like they're now not like parents.
My parents never did that.
My parents never did that.
Never did
that. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna get there.
But I'm always one of those people that they magically select because I travel with my wheelchair. They magically select me to get patted down every single time. It does not fail. Does not fail. Every single time I get patted down. I'm like, it's just a wheelchair. Like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
We need a petition to get Kennedy to go full historical.
Full historical.
I want it. Like, yes. I would love I don't know if it would be considered historical, like the Harlem Renaissance, if it's old enough.
Yeah.
Where that could be historical.
Yeah, I think anything older than like 1960s is considered.
Right? Yeah, now it is. Yeah.
There's got to be an 18 in front of it to be historical.
Because like we have Adrian Herrera doing a historical.
Hey, Adrian. Sorry.
Hi. Yeah, just like I would like to see more authors of color in the historical, especially writing people POC historicals with like actual characters being POC.
Yes,
I'm reading a Harlequin historical, A Blues Singer to Redeem Him by L. Jackson, which is in Prohibition time, which is really cool.
On audio?
Well, you can text to speech it if you want. Oh my goodness, you use text to speech, and you can have a robot read it to you.
Remove Aaron from this live show.
Yeah, because text to speech. What are you talking about? You're the one that told me about that. If I have to remove anybody, I have to remove you.
Use that in a pinch.
It's become a new way of life for me.
Introduce me to Madison Bay. Madison Bay has no audios.
None.
So what else was I supposed to do?
Listen, I'm just saying, if it's anybody's fault, it's yours, and you take responsibility. And That's how I read my ebooks now, as I do text to speech.
Really?
So now an audiobook narrator can be terrible and I'll still enjoy the book because I deal with Siri. So it's
it lowers your expectations.
Thank you. It really does. It really.
The sad part is when you're like starting to pick up on where she messes up, she's like, "Oh, you mean this?" Because that's where she messes up. Like, "Oh, that's what you mean." Okay.
For some reason, my Siri, she cannot say lunatic to save her life. She will spell it out. She'll put a $sign in there. I'm like, $sign? What? And I'll look at the book and it says lunatic. I'm like, where did you get that from?
My favorite is with like the medical, like if it's like a medical or something, and it says IV, and she goes 4. And I'm like, she's not wrong. She's not technically wrong, but
you're not wrong.
Or like when they say like ooh la or like ooh or something like just like a sound. Like,
just an MMMM.
Yes, I was like, oh gosh, Siri. Yeah, definitely has lowered my expectations for audiobook narrators. So honestly, it's a godsend.
Though I do have to say, the narrator can make or break a book, because I started listening to the Kiss Quotient and I hated that audiobook, but I loved the book. When I read it,
that was a rough audiobook.
That audiobook was just straight up bad. Like,
yeah, she had a very like, I don't know how it was like it's very grating. It sounded like very young than what the character sounded like.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, maybe that's what they were going for with the I can't remember if it was autism or Asperger's or
she was on the autistic spectrum. They didn't specify.
Yeah.
But that audiobook was just bad. I was like, oh. But when I physically read the book, I loved it.
I don't think I listened to the audiobook.
Text to speech, I space out if I'm not careful. Like there's been books I just like put on text to speech and just didn't realize I was checking out. Mm-hmm. Like, wait, what is happening right now?
Yeah, that happens to me
because it's like there's no inflection, so it stays monotone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually find myself following with my eyes a lot of times in text to speech.
Yeah,
I usually end up going like, I'm just gonna read this because like my mind would drift too quickly, unless I'm like already like I started the book by reading it and then I switch.
I usually have to do it like the first few chapters, just reading it with my eyes, and then I can more easily go to text to speech.
Because then I'm like, I know what's happening.
Exact opposite. Like I would have to like do the text to speech so I can get into the story, and then I can take it off text to speech and just read with my eyeballs. Because then, like if I try to start it, just reading it, my mind does wander, and I'm just like, okay, hearing it and then also reading along with it, like it helps me focus.
Oh, that's cool. Like how different.
I also don't think I would want to read a romance that is actually
Well, the narrator.
I prefer like if you're going to do erotica, it's better to have a narrator, like an actual human. Like Siri will butcher it.
I find Siri voice number 2 is more human. Which voice number two. She doesn't have a name, but Siri voice number 2 is pretty nice.
I'm gonna try that out.
We'll call her. Nope, I don't know. I was gonna be like Sierra, or actually, no, it was gonna be Syria, but that's a place. So
that's a Sierra place.
Or call her Lexus. No,
or Bernadette.
I'm thinking of Alexa, so I'm trying to go like with names close to that. But you said Siri.
Yeah,
that's hard.
Siri.
There's not very many Siri names.
Which Siri one voice, is it?
Siri voice number 2.
My grandmother used to have on her phone, it used to be Cookie Monster would talk to her. So she would be like, "Oh, hey Siri," and it would come out the Cookie Monster voice. I'm like, how did you get that?
Siri American voice number 2.
American.
See, I don't have on my Kindle, it doesn't give me any other option but the one.
No, well, I do it on my phone.
I think Siri reads faster than Kindle.
Yes,
Kindle's really slow.
Or Alexa. It reads so slow. It's like I'm reading as fast as I can. Like I can.
I know.
Do you have to use Apple Books
speed it up? I'm like,
for Siri to read a book to you?
Nope. I use it on my Kindle.
I've never been able to get Siri to read me an audiobook or a book through my Kindle app on my phone.
Yeah, you have to turn on You have to, if you go to, hold on. Nope, that's not it.
I've tried to look at all the advice. So it was like,
Okay, so you have to go
screen
to
or something like that.
Yeah, you have to go to accessibility, and then you have to go to spoken content.
Yes.
And then you have to turn on speak selection and speak screen.
It never works for me. It'll stop at one page. Even though I've tried to get it to go like multiple times, it will read one page. It will not continually scroll. It never has.
Really?
Yeah, mine will just be like, there's nothing to read here.
Yeah.
If you do it on Kindle, make sure you keep your device, like, I guess you could say, like, awake, so the screen doesn't shut off.
Well, my phone doesn't shut off. If my
will,
Kindle app is open, it won't shut off.
Like my phone goes to sleep or something and it's still playing, like through text to speech, it won't actually flip to the point where in the Kindle book.
Oh,
so if I stop it, and
you'll have to find the page.
I have to find the page. Versus if you do iBooks, it'll automatically turn the page where it needs to be.
I love Serial. I would like
Serial.
to say that's going to be Siri number 2. That's her
Siri voice
official
number 2.
name.
That is her name.
Serial.
My dad's chick is Australian. Like,
yeah, I use the Australian lady.
I'm like, you're weird. That's like,
mine's a little Irish man.
My husband
uses the Australian man. Okay, like. I just can't stand when they're yelling at you and taking the wrong turns.
I don't let Siri talk to me like that.
And the funny thing is my grandmother doesn't realize, like, I have to tell her, like, it's a machine. You can't yell at it. Like, it's not listening to you. She's like, I know. And I'm like, you're talking to a machine.
My mom thinks Siri gets so ornery with her. I was like, Mom, it's not.
Right.
Can't get
I'm like, Mama, it's not.
Hey,
like,
Siri can be like some sass.
She can, though.
Like, they can throw some shade.
I tell Lane all the time that they're going to be the first to go in the robot apocalypse because they're so mean to their Siri.
That's going to be me too.
I mean, like,
taking names at this point. She's like, okay. She's like, okay.
My Siri's like, okay, you talk to me like this. Give us 10 years. We'll see who's laughing.
If she becomes a character in a story, don't be surprised. No, use the name. Siri 2. Don't let her. No. I'm probably on a list too. Like, if the robot apocalypse happened, I'm right up there with Lane.
We're all goners.
Nicole, the first one to go, like, taken out by Siri. It'll be
like, there's actually a horror movie that just came out about, like, how Siri basically can track you and she ends up killing. Like, it's coming out in like 2 weeks, and it's like a horror movie about how, like, a Siri-like device will kill you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's too. No.
It's too meta.
You see everyone going like, I'm getting a Samsung now.
I cannot have Siri. Cannot have Siri. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
It's okay.
Just imagine I'm tracking you on the phone.
Google will get you on the Samsung.
Google, yeah. They just track you on the phone, then they just wait, and then they, like, order an airstrike. That's how they'd get me. They'd be like, okay, she's right here. I'm gone.
I feel like the way that we get Nicole is they'll send her a book from Amazon, but it's actually a bomb.
You know what? That's probably very accurate. That's not outside the realm of possibility.
It's like, oh, what did I order?
My Amazon delivery man judges me. He's like, another one today, huh? I'm like, you're getting paid either way. Like,
I don't see how that's any of your business.
I don't have a car, so I have a lot of stuff delivered here when it can be delivered. So don't judge me.
I love it. That's so funny. Like, he's like, I know you ordered more books, so I'm gonna silently judge you.
Oh yeah, he flat out tells me. He's like, this feels like a book.
I don't go off on my products. I go off on their creators, so they know I'm mad at humans and not them.
That's smart. That's smart.
That's safe.
Anything connects to the internet in my house has a name too. It's prepared when machines take over. She's like, just remember, I was nice to you.
The part that scares me is when, like, Alexa or Siri is connected to, like, the electricity. I'm like, that's a little too.
Or like the Smart House. We all saw that Disney movie, right?
That's exactly what I think of. Because my dad has it set up throughout the whole entire house. I'm like, Dad, your house is gonna like implode one day or something.
Yeah. Did you guys see the new Scream movie? The opening scene?
Yeah.
Where he basically like, I was like, oh man.
Well, he clones her phone, and then all the locks and stuff work on an
all the
app
locks.
on her
I was like,
phone.
oh,
I'm like,
man.
phenomenal.
If that happens, you're dead.
She's like trying to lock it, and he just keeps unlocking it. I'm like, listen, my fingers.
I was like, he probably got in by now.
He's in. He's in.
Oh, my dad got a I guess the camera system for the house, and the one week he was on vacation, and instead of calling me or texting me, he starts talking to me through the camera, and I'm like, Dad, no, stop. Like, he's like, answer your phone. I'm like, you should have just called me. I would have answered. Like,
answer your phone? Okay, call the phone. Don't call the house camera.
And then my brother comes home like 2 hours later, and he goes, don't eat all the food. And I'm like, we're talking through the camera. I'm like, stop, it's creepy, please stop. Like, and it's my dad's voice. It's not like an animatronic. I'm like, stop. It's really.
Sometimes we talk to our dogs through our house cameras too. You know, if they're home by themselves.
Should just start calling your dad Big Brother. Thanks, Big Brother.
Thanks, Big Brother. But if it's really like the AI that runs all the stuff, like if you make it mad, it'd probably just turn the heat up to like 100 and slowly roast you.
I'd survive. I'm used to 100.
The one thing you'll find is
I'll just go outside. It's fine.
Yeah, you Arizona.
I like the way Siri will like get revenge on me is make me lose my place in my audiobook.
Oh yeah. She just keeps like jumping you
evil.
around.
I was like, you evil, devious thing.
Turf was doing that to me earlier.
I didn't know he put cameras in the house, and while he was on vacation, like, I don't go anywhere, whatever. I was listening to learn my lesson on audio, and I had it playing because no one else was in the house, and my dad's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, oh, shit. I don't listen, like, I had my earbuds in if the kids were in the house, like, you know, you don't want the kids hearing that stuff.
Yeah. Like, listen, Dad, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
This is exactly why I don't play any, like, audiobooks or stuff on Alexa. Because, like, if it picks up on multiple devices, I'm like, oh my goodness, why are you embarrassing me right now?
Well, it happened the one day because it picked up on the kids' Alexa that's in their bedroom. Because there was like a reading of the story, like you could tell Siri to like read a bedtime story to the kids, and it started playing like some erotica that wasn't even connected. Like, it just started playing some erotica, and I'm like, the kids are 4 and 7. I'm like, no.
Like, stop talking.
Get off.
It's bad when if they're at the age where they repeat everything that they hear.
Oh
yeah.
So they're like going like,
no.
I heard this really interesting bedtime story. It was by Madison Faye.
It's really good, actually. No.
I kept calling him Daddy, but he did some really weird stuff to her.
You're like, whoa, where'd you pick that up?
Where did you get that? I won't buy those things that have people video chatting with their device and start talking. And even when you don't own one, it can be recording your voice at someone else's house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That happened in my neighbor's house with my dad because they had Alexa devices.
Mm-hmm. I rated it 5 stars.
5? Did everyone rate it 5?
5.
I wish you could give it like
you better give me a 5.
I was like, it's gonna be like a 4.5. I'm not over the fact that it felt long. So probably I'll rate it 5, but I'll be like actual 4.5 because I did very much enjoy it by the end, and I don't want to be 4 because I'm salty about the length in some areas. So I was like, I'll probably rate it a 5, but then like in my comments I'll be like actual 4.5 because it felt long in areas, but other than that, like the story was phenomenal, and you know,
Jen, this is why we can't have nice things.
I know, right? That's like
girls got mad at me when I rated the other one 3.5.
Which one?
Yeah. Very angry.
The Kerrigan Burn.
The Kerrigan Burn.
Oh.
Yeah, I need you to.
I finished book number 2.
Well, but it was the same reason. That book was just too long.
It was very long, actually.
I'm so looking forward to the third book.
It was just like it could have been trimmed maybe like 50 pages.
I feel like we need someone needs to do a video on reading between the lines on Goodreads reviews.
Reading between
like someone might say someone might rate a book a 1 on Goodreads, but it's really a 5 out of 5 in their hearts. They just don't want to put up. They just want to be seen rating the book 5 out of 5 stars.
If I see a lower rating than 5 stars for this book, I just pretend it doesn't exist. You know, you're going to college to be a hacker, so paranoid ain't even the word for me. Those devices. Okay, so going through the post-it notes. Yeah, I think Charles, you said it earlier that you really liked her friend, Tarika. I loved her so much. She was hilarious.
Yeah.
And there is this one little quote. It's very in the beginning, where Neva was talking about her phone got an STD because she was visiting like all the porn sites.
Yeah.
And then Tarika, she was like, I'm here to check on Neva's pussy. There's been no sign of activity for months. We want to make sure the cat still purrs.
Her like lines, like where she asked her best friend to like be her stylist on the movie.
Yeah.
And the way Neva convinced her was just like, are you really gonna turn down a free room and board for the next couple months? She's like, oh, I don't know.
No,
like just some of her responses, I was just like, I love you. I'm like, you're just like such a good friend.
Yeah.
I love her so
I'm like,
much.
you're willing to call Neva out, but in a loving manner that's super funny.
Like that and not get in the face. Like
what you just read, Nicole, made me think of towards the end of the book where she like packed a bunch of lube for her, and she's like, at least I didn't tell you when your mom was on the phone. And then
as they were leaving,
and he's like, don't forget the lube.
Like your mama knows about lube.
Right
your dad's been dead for 20 years, and I was like, oh god, I'm in the head that I don't want. Oh god.
Oh my gosh, she's so funny. And another little quote here that I thought was funny was literally the next page when she thought Cannon was calling her to go on a date, and she's like, I can't go on a date with Cannon Holt with a furry pussy. Oh my god, I was dead. And she was like, my brain explodes at the thought of sex with that huge man. He would break me. It would be fantastic. I'm like, oh my god, this book is perfect. Perfect.
And I love the descriptions of like how small the apartments are in New York City because it's the truth. Like it's a matchbox.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And they'll be like $1.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For the size of my closet.
Yeah.
And you have to have roommates too.
And you have to have roommates because there's no way you can afford that.
Oh yeah, there's no way. I had friends that would rotate who would sleep in the bed because there were so many people sleeping on the floor to afford it.
Could you imagine? Like, I thought about this the other day, COVID and everything in New York. Like, they were showing pictures of someone's apartment, and it was so small. I'm like, I can at least go sit outside if it gets bad. But, like, to be trapped in that for 2 years, I would kill myself. I've been like, it's not worth it. I don't know when this is going to end. I'm just going to end it now.
And I think the main reason it was so bad in New York was because everything is so close. Because everything's so.
Oh yeah.
You're all.
There's no way that you can stay 6 feet away from somebody in New York.
And it's the same way in Philly. Like you're not allowed to go anywhere without a mask because of how compact Philly is. Philly's the same back then.
I really feel for people because it didn't occur to me until like a couple days, or not a couple days, but a couple months ago, and I'm just like, they were having like an interview somewhere, and they showed up an apartment, which was like basically a bed that came down that took up all their space. And I'm just like,
yeah,
no,
I had a monkey bed in my first apartment. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how you guys do it.
It was awful, but
it's the line. I think it's your tits. It's not your tits, but your wits is my favorite line. Oh my god, it's so funny.
What was the word that they made up? Not a chuckle, a snuckle.
A snuckle. Yeah, a snort and a chuckle.
Chuckle. I love that so much.
A snuckle.
And then they still like use that as an inside joke later down the line. They're just like, did you snuckle? And then they like look at each other, and I'm like, that's so cute. I love it so much.
But I also like that, like, even though it seemed like it happened pretty fast, their relationship did build. It wasn't all just sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it was, he wanted to get to know her.
And I just want to say, like, how great of a boss would Cannon be? Because he was like, he provided therapists for them on set if things got really hard, or if, you know, daycare on set, because, you know, parents can't be away from their kids for 12 to 18-hour days, you know, it takes to be on a movie. And I'm like, you know what? You're a good one.
I like when he had that fight with Neva when she like took the nap and like missed the.
Yeah,
I love that because it was such a good conflict. Because like it's true, like she's a star of the movie. Everything revolves around her being there, and I was like the one time where he can't treat her any differently. I was like, oh, Kennedy, that's such a good.
But then when everything came out, the reason why he felt so bad
about it, was so mad at himself. He was like, oh, he felt so bad. I was like, and I was even thinking,
get where he was coming from.
Oh yeah, you can't.
Like, you can't.
Yeah,
even the studio's response to when she got sick, I was like, oh.
Yeah, at that time, they had already been like outed and their relationship was out in the open. So he's like, okay, everybody knows that we're together now.
Favoritism.
Absolutely. He's like, I can't go easy on her because I have to treat her as if, you know, anybody would come late on set, because I've established this rule, like, you are not late to my set. You are not late. So.
Yeah, I love that he made her go to all the doctor's appointments, and then even when he was just like, I need to hear it from the doctor herself, like, I'm not going to trust you, especially because she just kept wanting to be like, we got to finish the show. Like, so many people rely on, like, us finishing this. This is their livelihood, how they get paid. And I'm just like, ma'am, you're about ready to die. Like, you have to you have to take care of number one. So I like that he kind of forced her, being like, you're not coming back until you're cleared. Like, he very much cared for his employees, more so than like as someone, a creator that could do their job, but as like a human being first. And I really love that, because not every company will look at you that way, or boss. So I really like that aspect of it.
And even that Lawson guy was just like, we should have known, like, she should have divulged that she had lupus. So he's like, okay, so we can medically discriminate against her. Like, and he's like, just get out, just go, because if you're here, like, I will literally punch you in the face. And I'm like,
I think I highlighted that line, and I was like, thank you. We need more people that'll do that.
Exactly. Like, oh, we should have known. I feel like that's like something that
happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That happens so much. I can tell you when I walk into an interview if I'm going to get it or not, just by how they look at me.
I like how they showed like Neva kind of grappling over, like, prioritizing her health and going to see her doctor. Because you really feel like so much is on her shoulders. And she wants to relish this experience. She wants to do her best. But I just loved her juggling that, and like how Cannon has the exact opposite response. Even though he knows the business.
Yeah, she was more focused on the movie. She was like, I'm so sorry, I'm ruining your movie. Like, this is your dream. And he was like, I don't care about that. This is literally your life, your health. You know, it's like, because he has said multiple times, like, this is his baby. You know, it's like he's been working on this for 2 years, and they're finally like filming and making it happen. And she felt like she was ruining that. And it really just, his relationship with her made him realize that there are more important things than the movie that you're currently working on, because he gets so hyper focused. So, but I love that he really took care of her. Oh yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people, because of life requirements and stuff, like, they're like, oh, I just feel like sick to my stomach. People rationalize things.
Oh yeah, she was rationalizing all of her symptoms. You know, it's like, oh, I've been dancing for 8 hours straight every day for the last 3 weeks. I'm exhausted. My muscles and joints are
made sense. It made sense.
And that's really why it came on so sudden for her. It's just because, okay, maybe like over the 4 months, it was really, really progressing, but you know, are noticing it because it's progressively getting worse. Like, she's getting nauseous, and she, you know, vomited on set. If that didn't happen, I really don't think that she would have like treated it as seriously, because now everybody knows. If she was literally just doing it like for herself and she never vomited in front of anybody, she would have tried to continue on until like probably she didn't come to set one day and she was like passed out in her room. Because
I don't know if that would have been true, because if her doctors had told her how severe it would have been, she would have probably tried to keep it on the DL a little bit.
Yeah, she was.
But I think that she still would have gone through the motions, and then I think she would have tried to push herself, and something would have happened on set still. But yeah.
She kept saying, like, I only have 3 more weeks. Yeah, she kept wanting to, trying to, force her body into doing this, and she's like, I'm almost at the end, you can hold out. And that's, when her nausea started happening and everything, and
that's when her body said, no, you can't.
You can't do it. You need to stop.
That was kind of the hard part for me personally, because I feel like I have to yell at my parents to go to the doctor. I'm like, no, you've been having this problem. Go.
Yeah.
Go to the doctor. When my dad said something and then he was like, I've been having this problem for 6 months. I was like, what?
That's my dad.
To the doctor.
Yeah,
my
it's
dad
like
will not
this
go to the doctor.
pride thing. Yeah.
It's cultural. Yeah. I like how this book makes you more empathetic. If you weren't someone who understood what it means to have a chronic illness, I think this is an excellent book that shows this is our heroine. She takes care of herself. She tries to do right. And she is taking care of herself to the best of her ability. And it is something serious that you do have to take into account, and do have more, I would not say empathy, but more understanding. That we're all human. Even if it's not chronic illness, more mental health too.
Absolutely.
That's just as important. And so I like how this book puts that into focus. Hey, she went to the point where she needed a kidney. If it wasn't for her sister, she would have been dead.
Yeah. Exactly. She would have been on dialysis.
Or on the donor list for years.
Or on dialysis forever.
And she must have talked to a lot of people with chronic illness, because she got it right. Yeah. Even though my illness is not the same thing, she got it right.
She did a lot of research for sure.
You can definitely tell, because it wasn't just a throwaway line. There was research done to it.
Yeah.
I feel like Kennedy doesn't repeat the same book either. None of her books. The Grip series is very different from the Hoop series. The Hoop series is very different from this.
Right.
It's she doesn't just do the same. That's why I think she can't write as quickly. If you know what I mean. If you did a bully romance, there really isn't any research.
Right.
You need a ton of research you need to do for a bully romance. But every one of her books, she's almost always trying to say something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to highlight something. Even with her Kingmaker duology, that had a purpose, that had a point. And Queen Move as well. So I just love Kennedy.
Isn't Queen Move?
I feel she needs more.
Kingmaker.
It's the heroine's best friend.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
But you don't have to read them in order.
Okay, that was my next question, because I have all 3 of them, and I was like, "What's not?"
I've read that.
Yeah, Queen Move it takes after, but it has nothing. You just see them as a couple, and something. I don't want to be spoiled. But you don't be. It's she's not even with her best friend. She's back in her hometown.
Okay.
Yeah. Got it. I'm going through my post notes, see if we've discussed a lot of this stuff already, but
we love this. I feel this is a book that we all loved. We were all even Jen with her 4.5.
I very much enjoyed it. I feel it dragged in a few areas, because if I'm listening to an audiobook and I feel I'm tuning myself out and I don't necessarily want to pick up the audiobook, I'm okay, something's dragging here. But no, it did get really good, which is why I would, for Goodreads and the fact that they don't have half stars, I would give it 5 and then downgrade it to the 4.5 in my comments.
I would respectfully.
Kennedy is dragging your rating as we speak.
I know.
Just kidding.
I really would. The only critique I have is I wanted more of the character.
I mean, everyone's entitled to their wrong opinion. But 5 stars.
That was so good. You had to pay attention to what you just said. You're like, did she say that?
No, she says it a lot.
I say it a lot. In our personal lives, I say it a lot.
That should be a T-shirt, merch. Is that trademark?
Merch.
Everyone has a right to a wrong opinion.
Their wrong opinion. Yeah, that was from the Dance Moms on Lifetime. One of the moms says that to another mom.
Oh God.
I feel like everything goes back to Dance Moms.
That was all over when I was in
iconic
college.
show.
That show. Everybody was obsessed with it.
That's true though. Liz is asking, would you recommend the Kingmaker book? Yes, I would.
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
has anyone else
Anybody?
read it?
I read Queen Move.
I just got them
would
the
read
other day,
it.
so I haven't read them yet.
I would read it if you like Scandal. It's very much like the Scandal type situation. But definitely read them back to back because book 1 is in the cliffhanger.
That was gonna be my next question. I just got both audio.
Yeah, it's in a cliffhanger.
Dang.
The audio's on Chirp if you want to find it.
Nicole, you don't
Sierra
have the
Simone. Her new
of
Camelot is on Chirp for sale. If anyone wants it.
Sure. The Camelot one, is it the one where it's the lady in the blue dress?
Yeah, I think all books are like $5 each.
$5.
So you can get the whole series for $15, but I think it's ending soon.
You don't have the reference of my like RT or 5. I'm not sure what you're trying to say here.
I wish they would even go up to like 10 because I feel like 5 is so limiting.
I think it's designed so that nothing really ends up below 2 stars. I think it's purposely designed that way.
I heard even a 4 brings down, even though I consider a 4 a good
Anything
rating,
that's not a 5, my friend who's an author.
it brings it down. Everything that's not a 5 brings it down. It brings down the average.
I would even
rating.
think like a 3 is considered a good like rating. Like, it's like 3. It's higher than middle of the road, which is 2.5.
Yeah,
but it's like even like if I were to rate something 3 stars, I would still be like, okay, I could recommend this to the right person and they would love it.
It wasn't for me, but I see who would like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Did the epilogue mention at all if she was going to continue acting? So I was actually curious about that. If she was going to.
I don't think it did. I don't think it did.
They were just going to start filming. She was able to go back to work. They were just going to finish up filming. That was
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you read the historian, you'd know it would get a 5-star from me. You also read like textbooks for a living. So
Nicole is ignoring your recommendation.
So like, oh my gosh, you really read this 5 stars, and it's like a history book.
The historian was interesting. It was just too long. I liked the project of the book, but it was too long for me.
If they're not banging on page 1, I don't want it.
I need a shirt right there. I would glad to wear that in my conservative area, and I would get looks for days.
I would love that, and you should just like.
Does
have,
anyone else feel this way?
Somewhere.
Do you guys trust TikTok book recommendations?
No, not at all.
No.
I don't.
No,
I don't have TikTok.
I've read most of them.
Because I feel like when they say high spice, sometimes
not.
The book has no substance.
It's like one sex scene. I'm like,
not even that. It could be like
Colleen
a ton of steamy scenes, but then there's no good story or good characters.
So and every recommendation is Colleen Hoover or like a YA book.
I love Coho. So like
I can't.
I have issues with her.
No.
I totally get with people who have issues, but I was like, I'm kind of trash with Coho.
Verity,
like
I was angry after I finished that stupid book.
I'll be like, oh yeah, I totally hate Coho.
Ridiculous. And it was so ableist. Like the woman was basically saying, I can't wait for this woman to die so I could sleep with her husband.
Verity?
Yeah, I was like at that line. I was like, I'm done. Like, I
can't
don't
wait
care.
for this.
I'm done. This is bull. Like, and you're supposed to root for this couple. And she's sleeping with her. She's sleeping with him while the woman is like comatose upstairs. Somehow that's romance. And it wasn't word for romance.
I'm like.
The dark romance part of me was like, I vibe with this book. But like, I know it's problematic.
I have that book and I do want to read it. So
if you have problem with like ableist content, don't read it.
Yeah.
Just don't.
I mean, I kind of still want to read it.
You need to Voxer me your thoughts when you read it. I want to know your thoughts when you read that book. I was so angry.
I feel like Nicole's gonna be like similar to me. Like I knew it was trash, but I was living for it. Like I knew it wasn't a good book, but I was like, I'm living.
You've read it though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you understand where I'm coming from. I'm not coming out of like left field with this one.
I totally get it. There's like more than people. Like I know Bethany mentioned it too. Some of the ableist aspects of the book. I know there's like a definite amount of reviewers that have brought that up.
But that one line, like I was like, I feel uncomfortable with how this is going. But that one line, I was like, nope, done. And I finished it, and how it ended, I was like, mm-mm. You want to talk about throw a book across the room? I threw that book. I was like, nope, absolutely not.
Nicole, look at the comments.
Probably not.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow.
When you read it, because I want to know your thoughts.
I still have a TBR I have to finish. I have to catch up. I have 2 buddy reads going. I have to catch up on buddy reads. I
have to catch up on the Missy Elliott readathon. I've fallen behind on that.
Yeah, well, I need to.
I'm reading every day. I just haven't finished anything. Like I'm reading so much.
And I keep getting art sent to me. I'm just like, oh, listen. Julie and Lindsay just dropped Prophecy like Monday, and I'm like, I didn't want this book yet. Because I told her, and I was just like, I'll pay special attention to this book. And I'm like, not now, though.
I'm like trying to like use Hoopla more.
Oh, yeah.
So like I always like any bonus borrows that they have for the month or any new audiobooks. I'm like,
I love Hoopla.
I'm going to add them because I feel like if I'm not using it, I'm losing money.
Is they only give me 4 holds a month.
Oh, that's right.
That's horrible. I'm sorry.
I remember when.
And I literally go through them in like a week. Because I listen to audiobooks all the time, so I literally go through them like the first week of the month, and I'm like, ugh. Yeah. But I paid for that Brooklyn Library card, and that gives me 20 holds a month.
20?
Nice.
20. Yeah. We have 12.
20 holds and 20 audiobooks or ebooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the Hi, Joe. My friend texted me and said he's watching. Hi.
I can't pick any readathon books. I'm terrible at it.
I can't do readathons because as soon as I set a TBR,
I've
so many times I bought all the books, and as soon as I buy them, I'm like, I don't want to read any of this.
I don't want to read nothing.
No, and then I start reading other things. I buy it and I really want to read it, and then it sits on my shelf for like a month or 2, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I had it.
I'm doing good, but yeah, I need to. I finished through
this. I'm gonna buy this whole series.
I'll finish For All Time. I really liked For All Time.
I'm waiting on that hold to come in from the library For All Time.
Oh, okay. Do you have Alicia? Do you have Libby? That's what Liz is asking.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's like you have to wait because sometimes it's not available right away and you have to go on hold.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's with Libby, it seems like everybody's using it. So it's like, I can go 3 or 4 weeks and then they all come in at the same time. I'm like, there goes my TBR for the week.
I feel like that happens to everyone. That's like the universal experience. You have 20 books on hold and then they all come in on the same week. And you're like, I forget I put stuff on hold, and then they like tell me go check it out.
I get the alert through my email. I'm like, oh, whoops.
Most of the time, I'm like, I don't want it now. I forgot to cancel my hold.
I'm terrible with acronyms. I need to finish.
ISS.
MIC. I don't know what that.
No, that's not waiting to exhale.
That is like such a long title. You read better if your head's like this.
Is that like a modern anime title?
Or the blood goes to the right side of the brain.
What is? I know you put the acronym because you specifically did not want to type this long ass title, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
The high school prompt is killing me. That is so funny.
Because every one of them I've read already, and I'm like, it's too early for a reread.
I need someone to ban me from Chirp. I'm addicted.
Chirp kills me.
Honestly, I get emails every day, and I'm like, no, don't open it.
I like try to like be good and say like, okay, I only buy the books that I'm looking at when they're like down to like the last 5 days that they're on sale. But then I just go back and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy this whole series. It's only $1 for each book.
Well, they always
I'm
get
totally
me
gonna
with,
read these.
They always get me with like, you're checking out, and then they're like, well, since you like this author, there's 4 other books that are like $1.99. So like,
and I'm like,
of course.
I'm like, click. Well, because it's such a good deal.
You should see me in a crown.
That's a cute.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. You should see me in a crown.
Oh, that's a good book.
Sorry, I had to Google it because it would.
It was adorable. I read it last year.
Yeah, I need to read it.
You want a good YA that I just read? Have you got All My Rage by Saba Tahir?
I have not, but I love Saba Tahir.
It's the first contemporary, and I was like, oh man, I teared up while reading it.
Is it a contemporary or is it like semi based on her?
It's All My Rage. Straight up contemporary.
Okay, because how people were like selling it made it sound like it was her life story, and that's why I was a little confused on what it was actually.
Yeah, it's like about 2 teens in senior year. We follow one is female, one is male. The male character has a hotel that he runs with his family, and his mother dies unexpectedly. And so he's trying to keep the hotel afloat, but is failing. And his father's alcoholic. And then we have our heroine who wants to get out of this town, go to college, but she has an abusive uncle that doesn't want her to leave. And so like things happen as the story goes on.
Very heavy.
Seems
it's really heavy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have to be in the right
too heavy, but it's heavy.
Something that heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have to space them out. Like I can't do back-to-back heavy books. I can't do it. My brain will just crack.
Yeah.
All you need is just like a Madison Faye or a quick erotica between.
Just a quick
shocks me right back. I'm like,
most eroticas are pretty quick.
I can just do an Alexandria House and I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Them boys.
I have to do the second one in the set series, whatever that's called.
I just might, because listening to Jacoby Dam again, I'm like, yeah, I had forgotten you were so smooth. Sorry. I just love him. Book club support group. It's all a very fine line. Oh yeah. I mean, I will support you buying more books. I'm not the person you ask. You'd be like, should I buy this? The answer would be
enablers here.
Well, after my Harlequin haul, I have to not buy books anymore.
Yeah.
They were just $1 each, right?
Yeah, $1 a bag. I was like, and they were literally going out of business the next day. So they're
like, just take it. Just take it.
The guy's grandmother passed away, and she had all these Harlequins, not like pristine, like all the ones that are out of print.
Nice.
Mine. The girl that worked there, she had her daughter with her, and she was helping me put them in bags. She's like 4 years old.
Nice.
Once I have the little.
He's using your daughter to hunt for stuff.
All the ones that have a guy that's shirtless on them, in the bag.
If you see a 6-pack on the cover, the bag.
And no, I'm not going to answer questions. That's for your mommy.
Jen and I were at the book fair this weekend, and we were at the romance table, and there were 2 boys. They probably were like 10 or 11, and they were looking for stuff for their mom. And there were like, it was like one of the little kids was saying like, there's like a lot of people here, and the older of the 2 siblings was like, yeah, people are willing to pay $10 parking to get a $1 book. I'm like, listen, I don't need this kind. Why you call me out like that? First of all. Yeah, people are willing to pay $10 parking to get a $1 book.
We parked across the street. It's fine.
I didn't say it made sense. Okay, and I feel like we got our money's worth.
it was just so funny because it's like because we went the day before they were permanently closing. So I'm like, there's not going to be much. Literally, there was like 4 books on the bottom floor. And my mom's like, I'll go upstairs because the stairs were like sketchy and wooden. And,
she's like, I'll risk it. I'll risk it.
And she goes upstairs and she video calls me. And literally the whole entire room was Harlequin. I was like, grab as much as you can. I will pay you for them.
Grab as much as you can. Just pull the hatch back right up to the door and help.
We did literally, like, my mom couldn't take a turn without a bag falling. Like, it was like, this is bad.
Oh, so jealous. So jealous.
I've never had a tweet go so viral in my life. That was I had like 15 romance authors follow me within an hour of posting.
Nice. Yeah.
I freaked out when the only one I really freaked out on was Reese Ryan. Reese Ryan started following me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I know, me too. I was like, Reese Ryan, I think I messaged you. I'm like, holy shit, Reese Ryan's following me on Twitter and Instagram.
You did message me, and I was like, that's amazing.
Just for one picture, and like, because I tagged Harlequin, like, it got like 400 subtweets and whatnot from just that one picture.
Nice.
I was like, my God.
Alicia is famous, you guys.
Apparently, I was like, my subscriber count from Twitter went up like 100 in 2 hours. I was like, whoa.
Harlequin lovers have to stick together. They're like, Harlequin reader? Yeah, yes, all right.
It's a tight-knit group. Yeah.
Well, the ones I went crazy for is they had so many desires. I was like, apparently someone's cleaning out their garage or something. I was like, mine.
Yes. That's amazing.
I found desires are usually especially the older red ones are the most common you find in thrift stores and like bookstores.
I found like 4 today when I went to the thrift store with my mom, filling time between my doctor's appointments.
They didn't have very many of the Harlequin books.
Yeah, we didn't.
Unless if they were hiding somewhere in a different section.
It's unfortunate. We saw a couple intrigues, but nothing else, which is unfortunate.
We got a bunch of people to buy Julie's books, though.
Yeah, we did.
Apparently, a lot of people around here like Pippa Roscoe because I see a lot of Pippa Roscoe.
Oh, she's great. She's great.
Yeah, I see a lot of Pippa. When I go to the thrift store, I see a lot of Pippa Roscoe. I'm like, someone down here likes her.
Also, you guys may or may not want to read the Priest series by Sierra Simone.
I promised Bree Hill that I was gonna tweet and vlog that one. I've got the audio of it. I just need to figure it out.
If you want to buddy read that, I have the audio.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm just saying there may be an announcement.
I do like Sierra Simone.
I grew up Catholic, so I'm kind of nervous. I'm a fallen Catholic.
Oh, you would like it.
I grew up Catholic, so I'm like,
Oh, you would like it.
You should totally read Priest and Sinner and
right. But like you can tell Sierra has respect. Like it's not as taboo. Like it's
I just heard there's a scene using holy water, and I was like, I just want to read. I don't want to know more.
Yes. They
just
use
like
the
watch her
holy water
interviews talk
for
about
things.
priests. Or talk about that series is way deeper than I thought.
Oh yeah.
I was like, ooh, priest taboo romance.
They
Okay.
use the holy water, but then also I guess holy water is being used as lube rather than like canola oil, I guess. Like they were just in the kitchen and they use canola oil. I'm like, wow. Literally there's nothing else.
There's safer things you can use that you can find in the kitchen.
Like extra virgin olive oil, maybe. Just canola oil. All right, everybody. We've been live an hour and a half. We gotta wrap this up. But yeah, thank you so much. This is our next meeting. Our next meeting here, A Reckless Match by Kate Bateman. If you want to take a screenshot.
I purposely moved my thing to this hand. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess this up this week.
That would be great if, like, Jen, if you picked up the wrong book and none of us said anything.
I've done that before. I thought I was picking up the right Julianne Lindsay book, and it was not.
It was not the right book. I didn't even notice.
That's an easy mistake with Julie's books. It's this one. No, wait. No, it's not this one. It's this one.
This one.
Well, these are purple. They all look like they all have the purple color, so it makes it
Yeah. Well, if you're talking about the intrigues,
The intrigues, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, everybody.
I have to admit, I love her.
All right.
Thank you all so much. I'm so glad we got to read this book. I loved it with my whole heart and soul. Thank you to my lovely, lovely co-hosts for discussing with me. Thank you to everybody who's watching live now and commenting. And also thank you for watching on the replay. Everybody, have a great night. Bye.
Bye.